Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, hello. Hello, we can hear you. Well, I
great.
can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure we got everything I said earlier. That's the major thing. Okay, great. Great. Okay, great. So over to you, Jesujoba. Thank you, and good to have you now.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody can hear me clearly. All right, so today, as much as we are supposed to have our mics on mute, there's some points I would like us to contribute. When I say contribute, just interact, because I'll just ask some questions. That's how I like to teach. I just like to interact with my audience so that I know that we're going along together. All right. So first things first, story. I'll tell a short story before we go on. Okay, on a fateful day, just a couple of days back, I got a message from a friend asking if I'll be interested in a Zoom meeting and taking a Zoom meeting and talking to a group of people. And I just said, yeah, sure, because this is someone I really trust and respect. So I said, sure, why? No problem. And that birthed today's meeting, today's conversation. I want to say a big thank you to Omokende Thomas and the tribe at DigiClan. Benjamin has as well has been, he has been good when it came to the liaison and all of that. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really do appreciate. So we go straight into the presentation. I know the title of the presentation was How Storytelling Can Affect Your Brand. But of course, we do know that titles don't have to necessarily be the tone of the entire conversation, like a typical Nollywood movie. You know about the movie from the songs they sing and all of that. Yeah, so we go on quickly. A story, first of all. A story. What exactly is a story? I would define a story as, a collection or using facts and narrative to paint a picture, to communicate something to someone or to an audience, whether they're one or many. Now, we all grew up on stories. We definitely cannot beat our chests and say, I've never heard a story in my life. Anybody that has that mind to speak now or forever hold their peace. Now, speaking of stories, I'm pretty sure those of us who are from privileged background, privileged in the sense that your dad would read or your mom would read a story, a bedtime story to you while you were much younger. They just tell you stuff about some tortoise or some mouse or some distant animal that you probably never even heard of. And of course, you chop that bobo. You chop the bobo because it's interesting. They created a narrative around it. Animals that are supposed to typically be scary become fun animals. When they're talking of dragons, you're not afraid of the dragons because you assume a dragon is a friendly chap who only, gets upset and then spits out fire at bad people. Or they tell you about a tortoise or a snake. So much so that when you finally get to meet a tortoise in person, you've heard so much. It's like, I've heard so much about you, guy. This is you. Oh, okay. I see why your back is cracked. Oh, your shell. Hey, you fell, eh? Hey, pele. And what does that say? It means, your story is what kind of brings a personal touch to anything, to any brand, to any product, to anything. It's like a powerful way to put life into your product, into your brand, into your service, into the concept that you are trying to sell. Trust me, every salesman that I've seen, well, every good salesman always has a way of telling stories. And I believe that each and every one of us, we've been salesmen at different points, selling either a product or a concept or a feeling to people. When you try to toast that babe, for instance, you came up with a very good story. People who have proposed here, you must have come up with a very good story, something for your audience, who's the babe or the guy. These days now, ladies propose, or the guy to believe in and say, yes, I buy into this whole concept. Let's even make it more relatable. Every single time you collected extra money from your parents, you must have thought to yourself, if I just go direct, if I just go and sell this product and say, Daddy, I need 10,500 to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that, he may not give you. But if you come from the angle of, Dad, look, everyone in school seems to have been doing this and they're getting ahead. They're getting higher grades because they have access to this thing. And unfortunately, I don't. So I understand you just sent me some pocket money, but I actually do need this because if I don't have it, it's going to affect my grades. And we don't want anything happening to my grades. Sharp, sharp. Before you know, Popsy has sent it. And you have a sense of accomplishment. You have a sense of pride. And if you know you don't know how to tell stories, there's always that younger sibling that you send to your parents. Oh, okay. Some people are saying they can't hear anything. Oh, okay. All right. So please, I'd like us to indicate if you can't hear me. I need to know how many people are following and how many people aren't. Okay, Balumi can hear me. Kende can hear me. Amanda can hear. Zoe can't hear anything. Zoe, you want to like shift your location, just change position or something?
Zoe, I think you need to join with
I
your.
thought maybe the.
Zoe, you need to join audio. So Zoe, if you don't join audio, you won't be able to hear or speak. So you need to join audio first, then now mute your mic. Same thing goes, exactly. So if you join the audio, then you can hear us. Same thing for Popoola Day.
Can you all see me now? Yet wanted to see me. Well, you see me now. I can't see you. All right. Yeah. So going forward. Or get to Mopsy and just get any favor they wanted because they knew how to spin their narrative to favor them. Whatever it is they wanted, you could not get because you are too functional. Daddy, I need this. Daddy, please, I don't know your audience. Your audience would always see through when you're trying to sell them on something. So, what is one that does not make your audience feel sold. It makes them believe in something enough to take action towards that thing. That is what a good story does for you. Regardless of if you're an individual, if you're a brand, or if you just have a product or a service to sell, a good story is what helps your consumers feel like a part of something. And that way they would go above and beyond to make sure that they associate themselves with it. Case in point, Apple. Now, if you ask the people who use Apple products, there's some people who every gadget in their house or in their office is Apple. iPhone, Mac, iPad, watch, iPod, everything I'm anything, they use Apple. And not just because it's easy to buy or it's affordable to access. No, it's actually really expensive. However, they will go above and beyond to buy because they've already bought into the story. Apple guys feel like the select cream of the crop when it comes to gadgets. They feel the way a Benz guy will feel. A Benz guy is not going to be angry with a guy that is using a Range Rover because he knows that when he drives into a place with his Benz and the guy with the Range Rover comes side by side, there's every tendency that they're going to attend to the Benz guy first. Why? Because everyone has bought into the story of the Benz. The same thing with Apple. Apple guys always believe they're better. Just go online. You will see that debate almost every day. Apple versus Android. Apple versus Android. And they always believe they are better. They've bought into that story so much that they now feel like they're part of it by buying. They would use their savings. And I've heard of ladies who they don't really have a place to stay. They are crashing at their friend's place, but they have iPhones. Some people only work middle management. They have MacBooks. They have iPads. Why? Because it just feels good to be a part of something that great, right? Now, one thing that storytelling shouldn't be most times, brands make that mistake when they're trying to tell a story. They just get data, info about the product. My product is this. My product is that. My product can do this. My product is composed of 344 millimeter diameter that will make sure there's proper insulation for this, for that, so that by the time you are installing, it will not give you problem. It's flexible. The wire can bend. It's easy to connect to any plug or any socket so that you will not have difficulty. It's also hidden. And you say all of that. People don't give a, they don't about all of that. No. So your story shouldn't be just about what your product can do. No. A good storyteller wants to connect with his audience based off of what the audience can relate with. And that's why I try to apply this to our growing up days. You want to appeal to your popsy or your momsy or your babe on that area of mutual interest or that area you feel will totori the person. What is a totori? If we are going to define a totori is when your story or your action triggers something soft, like a soft work stuff in your audience. That is a totori. Totori means one time. If you can totori 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, that is consistent storytelling that is getting to the point and creating a reaction in your audience. So I go forward. I mean, I'll be doing all of this back and forth. It may seem not to have a particular outline, but trust me, or random scenarios just to try and convince the other person. No, the thing with people is that people are very perceptive. They will see air freshener real. If you spray this thing here, if you spray this thing, who told you that my house is not smelling fine? Just come into a new space and feel like a thing for them. They go kneel down. They never know, say they kneel down. But when we make them, we call carry and go meet them, put it in their face. It might be a very good product, but man, it's not going anywhere. Why? Why? But then knows how to tell a good story. And because of that, people seem to be patronizing that one. Only the 1 or 2 or 3 people who's one that everybody is hyping and hyping. Man, it's better, but who knows? Who cares? You didn't make me care. Anyways, we go forward. Now, your stories should be people-centric and easily relatable. Now, what does that mean? Your story should have others in mind, not you, not your product, not your brand. When you're asking questions from people, what most marketers do wrong, when they go to do some research to find out how their product is doing, how people are interacting with their product or with their brand, they ask questions like, so how has this so software helped your finance system in this company? And you, of course, you get very patronizing answers, sometimes very unsatisfactory. We thank God. It has really helped because we notice in some sort of improvement, but we don't really understand the parts of this one, this one, this one. We don't, and that is the sad truth. But if you ask a question based on their point of view, hi. So what have been your struggles with your finance system? How have you been able to manage it so far? So they tell you, and trust me, every single person is willing to open up about themselves, about their experiences to you, if they sense that you are sincerely asking out of care, not just because you want to prove a point or sell something. They are willing to talk. You will be amazed at how long some people will talk for. That seemingly gentle babe or gentle guy, once there's something they feel they can relate with, chap, 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 I didn't expect it. I didn't think you can talk this much. But they open up. Now, when they open up, It is now your responsibility to listen and take it in. So this is the pain point. So these are the areas that need help. And then by the time you're even introducing your product, you are not introducing it as, so what if I told you that there's a product, there's a software that can solve, that can do this, it can crash your this stress level by 12. It can do this by doing this, and start putting metrics. No. First of all, you find out what exactly would you rather was done different in your financial analysis, your financial system. Let them be the ones to tell you the areas that they feel require improvement or require a total overhaul. Then you can say, oh, wow, I see. Oh, okay. You need something that will reduce your stress. Okay, you don't want to have to deal with too many figures. So you need something rather automated, but also you can manage back end, blah, blah, blah. And then you subtly introduce your product and say, well, this does this. And then you tell them all those their problem points. Never speak out of their problem points. Once they tell you this and this and this and this is my problem point, even if your product can do 600 things, try to limit the uses and the functionality of your product to those problem areas that they have highlighted to you. Yeah, I see what Julia wrote. Every story has a hero, and the hero isn't you. Someone has been reading. Well done so much. Well done so much. Yeah. So yes, every story has a hero. And the moment you make the hero you lost everybody. You can't be telling me a story, even in conversation. And in dates, we make that mistake on dates. Guys, what is wrong with us? You go there, you're talking so much about yourself, what you do, who you are, who your daddy is, what you have achieved, how you think you are a good fit for her, how you think you are not like other guys, you are not scum, you are not this, and you are saying all of that and not even giving her the opportunity to talk. It does not help you. So take this, guys, just take this as, some shortcuts so that next time you want to go on dates, make it more about the person. Listen. That way you know what grounds to interact with the person. Same thing applies for brand. Same thing applies for your product. Same thing applies every single space you can think about. Now, what should a good story be? How do you know a good story? You know a good story if a good story is real. If a story is real, if it is authentic, then you know it's a good story. Not fabu, not gist. Real meaning it is relatable. If you say it, for instance, when I talked about getting money or getting things from your parents and having that younger sibling, everybody could relate. I'm pretty Hello?
Hi, you can hear you.
Yeah, I think I got cut off. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I think probably the internet.
Be real. It should come from a real place. Uh, and how you know it's real is when people can say, yes, 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 I remember. Now, comedians have found a way that you can find anywhere. A good comedian, the funniest comedians know how to whip up a story. They know how to trigger your imaginations. They know how to send you back through memory lane, down memory lane. And you are there, you're like, it's true, it's true, it's true. And that is why it's funny to you. But if someone from Uganda just comes and starts talking about something that happened in Uganda, telling you how different things occur, you are looking like nothing is going on in your head. You cannot paint a picture. But someone from Uganda would be laughing their hearts out right beside you, and you're wondering, I don't seem to be getting this joke. But hey, it's not for you. It's not real to you. It's not your reality. You cannot relate. So that's what happens as well when you're telling a product story. When you're telling a product story, your story has to resonate with me, with the audience. It has to be something they can relate with, or they must have. So it's either you're taking them down memory lane, or you are reminding them of something they want to be, or they want to do, or they hope to achieve. You're speaking to their imagination, you're speaking to their fantasies, to their dreams. That's what a good story should do. It should be from a real place. Now, aside just being from a real place, the difference between a good story and just gist is how creative your story is, how creative your story is. So your story needs to be very creatively put together. Now, how does this happen? First off, you need to identify what you want to say. This is another mistake that brands and products make. They try to put too many things as their USP. Now, per time, I am pretty sure that a product was designed to meet a certain need or to solve a certain problem. Why don't you just keep the focus of that product, the product story, to the problem you are trying to solve, the exact problem? Take, for instance, Airtel. Airtel sees that people have been having difficulty just recharging to call. Most people are within that 100 naira, 200 naira airtime budget. And they want to talk. They want to talk, be able to talk to their family. But you see, they restrict their calling to 1 minute. Make sure that the thing doesn't enter 00100, because it will start counting for the next minute. It's on 59 seconds, they cut the call. Or call me back, and then they go off. But we wanted to address that problem. What did we do? We created a product that allows you to get multiple amounts of the airtime that you recharge, so that you can be able to reach out for longer on the minimal budget that you have. So if you're a 100 naira guy or a 200 naira guy, you can have multiples of 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. So 200 naira can end up giving you 600 naira. It can end up giving you 1,200 naira. Now, we have solved that problem in a way. We don't let you see the back end. It could be that the per second rate is a lot higher. You don't know. It could be that maybe some magical way we make the seconds count faster. You don't know, but you don't need to know, because what I put in your face as my story is I have solved the problem of not being able to talk for as long. Some brands to make is to now start adding extra USP. You are not focused on one. So my brand gives you keeps you on the phone, keeps you engaged. It's also so couple per second. The burn rate is slow. This is that, and you say so many. You have so many things to say that you can't even make a compact story. The best of stories thrive on a singular message. So if your message is clarity, stick to clarity. If your message is multiplication of your airtime, stick to that. If your message is reliability, stick to reliability, because every product was made to solve a problem. Let that problem be the message of your story. Okay, so a good story should also create a personal and emotional connection with your audience. I believe I've addressed this before. Now, if if you're telling me a story that I cannot connect to, you've lost me. Someone like me with very short attention span. If you're not engaging me either on the phone or in person, I don't feel like I can connect to what you're saying. I'm sorry, you've lost me. And once you lose me, you can't sell anything to me. You can't. I want to relate with you because I feel like I can connect with you. I want to buy from you because I feel I trust you enough, the concept, enough to want to be a part of it. That is why. That's the only reason I would even want to do anything with you. People want to relate. People want to, they would only buy from people that they can relate to, or products that they can trust or relate to. That's the only time they are moved to buying anything. Now, you might have observed, I'm sure some people might have been waiting for me to have made references to some Airtel commercials. Yes, we'll get there in a minute. But first, whenever you get a brief, I'll take this quickly down to the creative process, so that before my time is up. I still have quite a number of things written here, but hey, before my time is up, I would want to break it down to simple terms. You get a brief as a creative agency or freelance, and you're supposed to come up with a campaign for a new product that they just want to launch, or they're maybe working on the beta version of it just to sample or test, or a new app or something. The first thing you do is research. And I don't mean research into the product. You already know what your product is. If you don't know your product front to back, then you have a problem as a brand, or as an individual, as a person in charge of the brand. If you don't know your product, you have a problem. So that's not where you should focus on. Don't focus on all that your product does. Research, who are the people we made this product for? Or who are the people we hope to serve with this product or this service? You do your research into the kind of people, the society, the things they do, their peculiarities, what their pain points are, what they would like to see, what they experience on a day-to-day. And this can only come from research. It could be personal research where you go in there undercover and just, mingle with them, or you take statistics and data analysis and just, piece together all of that to say, oh, okay, this is the kind of people that we are talking to, this is what they do, this is what they lack, this is what they like, this is what they would want to relate to. Now you take all of that information, you bring it to your table, you look around and say, who else is doing something similar to what I'm doing? Competition analysis comes in. You start thinking, so I'm a telco brand, I'm Airtel, and I want to do a new data product. Who else has done something similar? Oh, okay, Glow has done it. Glow is even doing higher. I can't afford to do higher than Glow right now. So what can I do that will make mine more appealing than Glow's?
I think we lost him again for a minute. The internet can be crappy. I trust you'll join in a minute, so just be patient, please.
Hello guys, I'm back. Sorry for that. Can you all hear me now? Great. All right. I know I told Benjamin 30 minutes. It seems as if I'm doing way more than 30 minutes and I'm not even past. Anyways, yeah, so the thing is, whether you like it or not, you need to do adequate research, because that is the only way you can get facts about the people that you're trying to sell to or the people you're trying to communicate with. That's the only way. So as an agency, for instance, the way we work, our strategy arm, strategy and planning, they do all of that research. They do group studies, they do case studies, they call in people to ask questions, samples, surveys, questionnaires, just to feel people's pulse and test run and see what happens, how they vibe to certain things. We're not even introducing the product to them. We're just introducing the idea. How do you vibe to this idea? Okay, this is how it relates with you. And then they do all of that. And in doing all of that, they can come up with a brand position. They can come up with some proposition for that product or for that brand. They can look at competition analysis and say, this is not everything they've said. Say 4G, for instance. When we were working on 4G, the challenge was that we were late coming into 4G. Airtel was late. Everybody else seemed to have gone on 4G way before us. So we were like, if we're just coming with 4G, how can we make 4G seem like something something new, when Nine Mobile or Etisalat had already done commercials about 4G being super fast and MTN fast. Everybody was saying fast, speed, fast, bolt, Glow Bolt, Nine Mobile, Easy Blaze, blah. It was crazy. How do we then come into this same market and expect to get traction. So what did we do? We went out in search of people's pulse. When you hear 4G, what do you think? What comes to your mind? What are you expecting? And they'll tell you speed, internet, fast internet, blah, 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 blah. And so we come back in and we look strictly, the strategy team looks at what competition is currently doing, what they're currently communicating. And that's the only way we can say, now this is what they're doing. This is exactly what we shouldn't be doing now. Because there's no way we want to launch and then we come out and say speed, speed, speed. And now we launch last. Or now we they launch last. You can't talk speed. Our case could be like Internet Explorer near Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox. You know how they say if you're on Internet Explorer, now you they get information last. So that would have been the case. So how could we communicate 4G that would make it appealing to people? And so we went in search of relevant human insights. From research, we found out that people are not averse to getting something that is better than what they're currently doing. But if only they see that it is better. We also found insights around the fact that people seem to be stuck in their old ways, not because it's bad, but because it's what they've been used to for quite a while. However, if they do not try out something else, they will not really know. So what we're saying is, you don't know what you are missing until you experience it. Now, we're positioned, what we are offering is probably what everybody else is offering in terms of speed. But maybe we are more reliable because we're more 4G is in more states and more places than most other networks. But how do we now best communicate the message that people feel like they want to be a part of it? We hadn't even thought of characters at this point. We hadn't thought of all of those things. What we were thinking about was, so they're currently on 3G and they're enjoying it. It's not like they're not enjoying it. So how do we communicate, move to 4G without necessarily making 3G seem like a bad thing? Which is what other networks seem to be doing. They seem to be saying, if you're on 3G, you're not fast. If you move to 4G, so everything will go super fast, and no buffering, no downloading 2 MB file for 30 minutes, none of that. So they made it look like 3G is bad, move to 4G. But we were saying, we know most of our consumers, most of our customers on Airtel, they are even still on 2G. Let alone 3G. So these guys account for a lot. We can't come and then just drop the shock bomb and say 3G is not all right. Move to 4G if you know what's good for you. No. So then came the challenge. How do we communicate that 4G is good for you without saying 3G is bad for you? Then came the statement, 3G is great, 4G is better. And then you tie it into, you don't know what you're missing until you experience it. Now, when we come up with all of this, how then do we feel we will best communicate this thing? We came up with insights, societal insights, while we brainstormed on things that were a current reality. Our mothers, our grandmothers, there's certain way, our dads, there's certain things they've grown up being used to. They work. Those things work. It's not like they don't work. But we be Gen Z then. We know there's some ways to bypass all these things you are doing. My mom liked to send SMS. All those free SMSs were a blessing to my mom at some point. Momsy would find ways to send it, and she types in full. So she will use as many SMSs as possible just to send one message. Now, she probably didn't know much about WhatsApp. When you introduce WhatsApp, what is this WhatsApp now? He's still texting. He's texting. Well, leave me with my SMS, so Jare, and this and that. So SMS still work. People still receive it. Things, but SMS is not always free. Free SMS that we don't know what to do with it, but it's not always free. First off, two, the characters you can type in one SMS are limited. Will show you that it's better. The moment my mom got to know WhatsApp is better, my mom can send you full scap sheet in WhatsApp and send it to you. And I'm sure this applies for a lot of other people. So we thought, who do we have that can best tell this story? Which brings me to the next thing. Create a character for your story, a character that people can relate with. One character is enough to be the center. You can build other characters around this one character, but one character is the one that should carry your message. Your message should be conveyed in that one character. Cue in Rainbow. Who else did we see that seemed to be stuck in their ways? I mean, from Ami, we had already created someone who can afford to talk on the phone as if they are there with you. They want to say everything. When it comes to cooking, when it comes to washing, feeding babies, that this person would know how to do a certain way until he or she is to Otto Gele, the portmanteau before she was convinced to use, normal traveling bags. Then the blender. Yarembo must have, I'm pretty sure we've all seen the blender. If you haven't seen it, just go on the Airtel page and go through the 4G videos. I thought I'd be able to share links, but I want to run through this. So we took that and we put it parallel them in that message to say 3G is great. It's great. We're not saying it's bad. It's good. It's working for you. But 4G is better. And if you are saying, we tell you, you don't know what you are missing until you experience it. And we try to show all of that in that communication. Take Blender. Blender is still one of my sweetest commercials in that series. Blender, simple, no need for dialogue. Yarembo is used to doing some things, hand grinding stuff, doing stuff on the mortar, on the olo, and all of that. Whilst Maka has already probably been exposed to bigger, better technology, which is the blender. Uses the blender to blend whatever it is she wants to do. Ewedu, she blends. Mama Rainbow is doing Ijabe. All those things, paralleling them side by side. And then we saw what happened. At some point, Rainbow is convinced that it seems like this thing that Mama Maka is using works faster and better than what I am doing. So it inspired an action. When nobody was there, when nobody was selling anything to her, she went and tried it. Even though it blew up in her face, she only learned how not to do it and how to do it better next time. That is what a good story should do. it should also, a good story should take you on a journey, which is what we did with those commercials. A good story should then inspire action. So what do I mean? A good story should have a character. A good story should take you on a journey. Now that journey being from the problem through to the solution, from the conflict through to the resolution. That is what that story should do. Look at our stories from Ami. Ami was for 10x smart recharge, if I recall, which was giving you 10 times any amount of airtime that you recharge. Some amount for data, some amount for calls, but it was 10 times your recharge. And we struggled with how to communicate this. 10 times your recharge. You just be talk on. How do we make talk more personal? Cueing the story of moms and grandparents and how they can pray from your morning devotion to when they call you on the phone, they pray. So it was simple. We just took that premise and put it into the communication. And that blew, because on social media, what we kept getting was, I remember, this is so momsy, this is so my mom, this is, no, my mom can pray for 3.5 hours, this. And people started saying they could relate. Then the next thing you start seeing is, man, I'm going to get an Airtel SIM, or I'm going to buy Airtel, not because there's 10 times more credit. No, which we communicated in the end because we needed to bring a resolution. There is no worry about talking for long because you now have more. You have 10 times your recharge to talk as long as you want. And people were not even relating with that. They probably don't remember that the name was Smart Recharge. What they remember is, that mama prayer, that prayer, and me, man, that is so momsy, man, I'm getting my Airtel SIM. I'm porting back to Airtel. I'm getting my Airtel SIM. And there was a lot of that. And that is what a good story can do for you. Look at all the stories from Data is Life, Alex and Joe, the journey from one place to the east, the father who didn't have data to connect to see. He hadn't seen his grandchildren. His son had traveled somewhere far away, and they probably were only communicating via phone. They didn't even know what his grandkid looked like until he was exposed to Facebook, some form of data. And that was a story. That wasn't really selling Airtel data. It's faster, it's more reliable, it's this. No. It was selling more of the feeling. You could see how the man felt when he said, I have never seen my grandchildren before. And then the man was, what is his name? John Uka. And he gives him that, and he types it in Facebook, and there goes John Uka, his son. Is this your son? And Baba is scrolling through pics, and you can see the joy in his face. And people could relate to it. And because of that, they wanted to be a part of that feeling. Hence, I'm going to get my Airtel SIM. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. People will do unbelievable stuff once they can relate and be a part of, just to be a part of your story. They will do unbelievable. They would change their lifestyle. They would break the bank. They would do that. Testimonies would be, again, Apple, Harry Potter. Let's even do something practical now. Let me put someone on the spot. It's not just putting you on the spot. So, Palumi, can you unmute your mic?
Yeah, so it's Bukayo, but using Palumi's account.
All right. So, can you tell me what you know of the Civil War?
The Civil War in Nigeria.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so
it doesn't have to be anything deep. Just what you know.
Yes, I know that it was a war between different tribes, and I think the opposite side would be the Igbos. I know there was an issue with the king and the king's son, where they tried eradicating the whole family. But I also know some conspiracy theory where they said it was actually false, and they were just trying to take out the line of the Igbos in terms of the generation.
Mm. Okay, that's really good. You even remember the fact that it's something
Sorry, I can't hear you. You're broken.
make me relate with the Civil War.
Okay. So, huh, huh. Uh, let me see. Okay, so I don't know if you know of this time when there was an issue with Idiaraba and some Yorubas and the Awusas some time
Yeah.
back. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So the Civil was very similar to that, where the Awusas just killed any Yoruba that they found that, and it actually escalated through the whole of Lagos from Idiaraba, and it was a major issue. So anywhere you hear about Sabo,
Okay.
Fungari, and all of that, I'm sure you can remember that story that happened some years back in Lagos.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, that's how the
Mm-hmm.
civil was in the past. So the other people were also trying to take out the lineage of the Igbos entirely. And imagine the Igbos, what would they do? They have to fight back
True.
in something like that. But the thing was, because the other
True.
person fighting was at the governmental level and the higher class, there was nothing they could do. So it was like a war like that. Very,
Mm.
very. You can understand exactly what happened. That was what it was like.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Mm. Mm. Now, let me tell you a short story. Um, Once upon a time, there was a family, Mr. and Mrs. Okonkwo. They had a daughter who they waited so long to get. They waited so long, they waited about 8 years to get that child. And when she was born, she was a beacon of light, and it was something that brought joy to the entire village. It brought joy to the entire village. The sun seemed to shine brighter. Even when it rained with music, and the birds seemed to just keep singing endless songs. And so she grew. This girl grew, and she was the darling of the entire village. She People loved her, and this and that, and she was just so beautiful. Someone that their parents, Mr. and Mrs. Okonkwo, was always proud of. Q 12 years, 12 to, say, okay, about 19, 20, 23 years later, she's grown. She's all set to get married. And it's the happiest day. The parents thought giving birth to her was the happiest day, but for her, it was the happiest day of her life. She was getting married to the love of her life. On that very morning, the wedding morning, her dad and her uncle go to the farm to get yams for the ceremony and to get all of that. And next we hear is screams, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. What happened? What happened? Mr. Okonkwo is dead. The uncle is dead. And you have people chanting towards the village square. They're chanting, oh my God, oh my God. And then you have another host of people in hot pursuit. He finds out only for Adan to find out that the person leading the charge was the guy who she says she wants to marry. It's this guy who killed her father and her uncle. it was the beginning of the Civil War. Now, I have taken your attention away from historic events. I have brought you into the space of a character, a family. I have limited your scope to that family. So you are trying to follow me through the life and experience of that Mr. and Mrs. Okonkwo's family and Ada and what happened to them. And so when I give you the bad news, you are hurt, you are betrayed, you feel as terrible as Ada felt. And then I let you know that that was the beginning of the Civil War. And then I now go on to tell you the reason for the Civil War and how people just chop each other eye and how people you thought you knew, you could trust, could be the ones to kill you and all of that. Then you can relate better. If they ask you about the Civil War, you probably remember dates because you remember it was the day Ada was supposed to get married. You can tie it to a human emotional situation. So Pelumi, thank you so much. But the difference between what you did and what I did, that it's no competition, don't bear that in mind. But is that you gave me the account of events. You gave me history. I gave you a story. That's different. History, reality, facts, figures, statistics, maps, charts, data. I gave you a story, a reason to connect, a reason to believe. And once your story can do that, you can sell almost anything. And trust me, that fear that most brands have that makes them just want to put all the product benefits into their communication to increase bottom line. That fear that telling stories and being too emotional will not affect their bottom line is not valid. A good story will always, always positively affect your bottom line. So note that all I'm saying is, or one of the things I'm saying is, a story is not a tactic. A story is not a sales tactic. It's not a marketing tactic. No. A story is a window into the hearts of your consumers, a window through which your consumers can relate with you, a window through which they can take the opportunities that you're giving or the products that you're bringing wholeheartedly. I would share the links to some of the Airtel commercials that we've done, but you should know that this has been what the principles that have been guiding all our communication for Airtel so far in terms of building love, building product love. We're building love, brand love, as much as we're building love for the product we're trying to promote. And that's the process. Research, 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 creating the brand proposition, then creating, digging out human insights, digging out relevant societal insights, and then telling those stories and seeing how our brand fits into that story naturally. Then a call to action. All we just need you to do is dial *141#. Today, we start to tell you, do it now, don't think too much. But we don't make it sound like do it now. Do it today. Enjoy so when you dial so today. Call to action. You've moved me on a journey. Now, let me see the reason for this journey. What do you need me to do? Oh, if you need me to dip my hands in my pocket and pay for the service, if you need me to tell a friend about the service, what is your call to action? You need to make sure that it is in your story. Okay. So beyond inspiring action, of course, you also want to establish brand loyalty. And so if your story is sold on your consumers, if your consumers can associate with your story, you own them, literally. McLean, people will always call or any other toothpaste for the longest time. We'll call him McLean. McLean. I want to buy Close Up McLean. I want to buy Dental Clean McLean. I want to buy Matzan McLean, Double McLean. Why? Because they have been sold on the McLean concept. Anything toothpaste, na McLean. Anything seasoning cubes, Maggi. I want to buy Royco Maggi. I want to buy Mr. Chef Maggi. I want to buy so Maggi. They don't even realize they're doing that.
Even Indomie too.
Indomie too, the same thing. Give me Chiki Indomie. Give me Mimi Indomie. Same thing applies all round because they've been able to relate with one brand, that one product that has captured their hearts, and any other thing that comes is just a cheap imitation left to them. They will still go for Indomie if only Indomie was a lot cheaper. But let's just assume we are still eating Indomie, but with 30 naira. So I'm buying mini 30 naira, or I'm buying mimi noodles. It's 35 naira. Indomie is 15 naira. So let me eat mimi with the mindset that I'm eating Indomie. And that is it. The moment Indomie comes and realizes that price is their pain point again and crashes their price, trust me, all those guys that came up, they're going to come down. Supreme gave Indomie a run for their money in the market for the longest time. Why? Because they just came and went to market straight. They didn't even bother about communications or anything. They just went to the market, crashed prices. We're doing 6 packs, 14 packs, 8 packs of noodles.
That's what Biggie did too.
Exactly. And they just crashed the market, crash. Indomie had to think fast and start creating products based on real needs of the consumers. The consumers like to experiment with their noodles, with their food. Okay, we are encouraging you. This is the Indomie suya version, Indomie pepper soup, Indomie chicken, onion chicken, Indomie this. Then you can, they started doing communication where you can do it anyhow you like it. You are unique, you are special in your own way, you have your unique flavor, you have your unique taste, so eat your Indomie however you like it. You'll find that people would go for Indomie regardless. There's barely anybody you will ask that will tell you any other noodles brand tastes better than Indomie. There's barely anybody you will see. So while the concept is taste, while the main message is taste, the means they have used to drive taste and make you believe is that taste is relative to you as an individual. Indomie has great taste, but your taste, even when products are telling you so to taste, they will tell you season to taste or dilute to taste, or juice. Those of us that used to take juicy or tasty time to secondary school boarding house that time, dilute to taste. So it's still down to the individual's taste, and that is how Indomie has won the hearts of people. The last thing I would say, well, maybe not the last thing. Also, the tone of communication matters. The tone in which you convey your message matters a lot. Are you being funny and comical? Are you being educative? Are you informing me? Are you scolding me? Or are you making me afraid, trying to use the reverse psychology on me, getting me to see the dangers of not having your product or your service, and seeing how vulnerable and exposed I would be? Say someone who sells security cameras or security systems, CCTV. You can come from the approach of the fact that there's a burglary almost every day, there's repeated burglary in the same locations, and give all that facts based off of real human testimonies and create that fear and make them see that they are missing something if they don't get that extra layer of security. And therein, you sell your products. That is another tactic. So the tone of communication matters. Do you want to be soft? Do you want to be, and that now brings me to the voice. Now, whatever voice or character that you're using to drive your communication must be one that best conveys your message, or else your message will be lost. That character has to be the one that carries your message. Now that brings me to the last thing, the medium with which you use to communicate your message. That medium. Blogs and vlogs in which you tell your story is important. And you would only know the right medium to tell your story if you have taken your time to understand your consumer. Your product is to a D class, a D socioeconomic class. You know that these guys, they are either more likely to listen to radio or maybe watch television. Maybe watch television if they are not out there hustling. Earphones in their ears with their feature phone, listening to radio. So you put communications on radio. Now, I have a personal grievance with brands when it comes to radios. Brands feel like radios are strictly to sell. Tell people about my product in 30 seconds. In the first 15 seconds, in the first 5 seconds, I should see my product. I should hear my product. I should hear my logo. I should see, talk about my brand. Let me hear my brand in the first 5 seconds. So it becomes top of mind. And then the rest, you want to hear your brand in the first 5 seconds. And then you still want to use the last 15 seconds to still talk about your brand features and products. It is ridiculous. That thing tunes people off faster than most brands would know or acknowledge. You want to put 5, 6, 7 things that your brand does in one 30-second commercial. Who want to hear it? So you have let me look for a brand that could have all those features. So maybe you're selling a machine that blends, a machine that cuts, a machine that chops, a machine that does all of that. You sell that, and you want to sell all of that in one communication. So this machine is made with so Valerian steel. It can cut through. This is made of dragon glass. It can kill night workers. Then also it has so protective layers, fiberglass. It does this. It does that. It this blah 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 blah. Make sure. Then you've said all of that. Then you want to tell me go to the nearest so store to purchase your own now and get a warranty of so in 30 seconds or 45 seconds. I'm not going to consume that information. And brands do that a lot. Radios, I believe, are one of the biggest opportunities that we miss to tell our brand story or consolidate our brand or product stories. Radios, that gives people the opportunity to imagine what you are saying, you challenge their imagination. You want to sell me a glass or a bottle of wine. Don't come and tell me it was harvested in Western Europe. It was aged in so at the depths of hell. It was fermented for so period, went through. How about you tell me a story of my own story? You have decided you want to sell it to luxurious individuals, people who can live large. So you sell me a story. Let me take you on a cruise. It's so degrees out there. The sun is shining so bright. You're right there at the zenith of your yacht, and you're cruising on the Lagos waters, the breeze blowing in your face with the sun shining in your face, light music in the background, and you're just taking it all in, taking it all in. Oh, that ambience, so beautiful, right? Now get that glass of wine. Yes, that same wine, the Pinot Chateau Belacroix, 1974. It just adds an extra class to luxury. Blah, blah, blah. And you end it there. And they have followed you all the while. You have described their probably is their every weekend routine you have described. But let them know that that routine is missing one thing, which is the Chateau Belacroix, the Pinot de Chateau Belacroix. You know how these wines have funny names. Pinot de Chateau Belacroix, 1774, aged blah blah to perfection, adds an extra to class. Something can add to my class. I will go and buy it. I will stock up on it. See how they sold cigarettes to us. From small, without they feel like to smoke. Say if we not smoke, we not be big boy. No, why so good? The sun's gonna shine on everything you do. And then we get carried St. Maurice. They smoke. Like say no, then Rockman's King Size too, the best tobacco money can buy. They're like, yay, I hear me. If I have money like this, I'm gonna smoke. If you manage to thief one stick of Rockman's from somebody, the whole world will know that you have smoked. Because you want to tell everybody, I'm a Rockman's guy. It's the same thing with Marlboro Classics, the cowboy feel and all of that. They related with the people and they use the medium that they communicate with or interact with the most. So in telling your story, always figure out what is the best medium, the right medium to communicate this story to the audience that I am trying to reach. With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to impart some of my knowledge with you. And this is where I draw the curtain. Thank you very much. I'll take questions now. I'll take questions now.
Okay. Thank you, Jesujoba. I'm not sure if anyone has any question. It's taking some time. So I have a question.
Okay.
So I know you made mention of voice and tone, and I would just like further clarification between the voice and the tone.
Okay. All right. So the voice of your commercial is more the person of your commercial. Your story, for instance, the person. So a voice doesn't have to necessarily be, I'm speaking, you can hear me. The voice is the character, the essence, the person carrying the message. That's the voice. The tone, however, is the medium through which that person carries the message. So if, for instance, let me give the simplest difference. If you have someone whose voice is, I am, no, let me see who I can impersonate. I bring you greetings from amongst the stars. And the person has that kind of Lord Frank, deep Femi Showolu kind of voice, right? Now, how that person uses the voice in your commercial matters. If you are a very playful brand, that person has to succumb. His base has to come in like, hey, yes, I'm talking to you. So that it has to be funny, but I'm still using my voice. However, I need to be funny with my voice. I need to find a way for that character of mine to be funny so that I can relate with this audience or this crowd. If I have a shrill voice,
"Hi, mommy, I want to talk to somebody today."
that is my voice. But if the commercial is a serious commercial, like a business-like commercial, imagine yourself lost in the waves of work. You know how I put that voice to use. What differentiates between one commercial and the other. That's why you have one voiceover artist could be responsible for 2, 3, 4 different commercials, and you recognize the voice, but the tone is different. This one is serious, this one is funny, this one is instructional, this one is something that will get you thinking, this one triggers your imagination. That's how it works. So the voice is the message, is the carrier of the message, is the character. The tone is how the voice conveys the message. So someone asked, how do you determine the voice of your commercial? Like I said, the voice doesn't necessarily have to be audio. The voice is the character of your commercial. If you notice, a lot of our Airtel commercials, we don't even do dialogue. We try to make it as quiet on dialogue as possible and more driven by music and actions. So in that case, the voice of the commercial will be determined by the message you're trying to pass across. So that's why I said, what is your message? You need to define your message that you want to pass across based off of your unique selling proposition. What message do you want to pass across? That is where you now, because before we landed on Ear Rainbow for the Amikom, this prayer thing, it can't be someone who is young in her 30s or 40s. That is not, it's not typical to that kind of crowd. So we're looking for people more in their 60s, 70s, grannies, who will call and pray, because they believe prayer is the only thing that can solve everything in this world. So who do we have that is like that? I'll let you in on the backstory. We had the Yahweh, we had Mama Rainbow. We had a couple of other people from both Igbo, Yoruba, all those people, excuse me. We had them in a pool, and then we decided, okay, let's call so people in for an audition. And we auditioned them, and we found the best fit to carry that message in Iya Rainbow. And she did a very great job, if I do say so myself. So yes, someone answered for me and said the voice is the carrier of the message. Yes, the voice is the carrier of the message. The tone is the path through which the voice carries the message. Okay, when is the best situation to use storytelling to solve a marketing problem? And how do you convince obstinate clients to go for storytelling for conversion? I think you have the answer to your question. The best situation to use storytelling is every time. Every time you get the opportunity. See, every time we wake up is a story. Trying to convince yourself to get out of bed. You must give yourself a rationale. There's work. If I don't go to work, I will not earn salary. If I don't earn salary, I cannot do this, do that. If I don't get out of this bed, I won't be able to bath. Oh man, there's no hot water, but I still have to bath. You are constantly telling yourself a story to make that next move. If I want to talk to this babe now, what do I want to tell her? What do I want to tell her? So the best situation to use storytelling is every time you have the opportunity to solve a marketing problem. But first, you need to, first off, need to know who your audience is, and not just knowing them by theory. You need to be them. Put yourself in their shoes. So you're not creating these commercials, you're not creating communication for yourself. You're not creating it to make yourself look good. Pardon me, you're not doing creative or intellectual masturbation. No, that's not what you're doing. You are doing this for them. So how do they think? What do they want? You need to go out there and do the work to find these things out. Ask them questions based on their realities and their lifestyle. Not, what if I introduce you to a product now that does this? You bring that at them, they'll be like, okay, me will try, but I not get money, I not get the money. You get all those kind of stuff. But if you go to them based on their needs, you would always find a story to tell. Now, how do you convince obstinate clients? How good is your storytelling? Because to convince your clients, you need to create a story. You need to make them believe that this is the best way to go. Do you have facts? Do you have references? Do you have references that have led to results? Do you have results as a result of, as a factor of what storytelling has done for a brand? If you have references like a Dove changed their entire marketing strategy. The entire marketing strategy in 2006, because there was a Stacy Blank or Stacy, what's her name again? But Stacy, though, that she came and she had Stacy Bright. Yeah, she had this whole problem with what image Dove was trying to do. Dove was using models and seemingly perfect babes to do their commercial, the typical commercial, hot babe, blonde hair, fine, big boobs, flat tummy, this, that, bikinis, and all of that. And this constantly gave her daughter self-esteem issues. The daughter started asking questions. Mom, why don't I have that kind of hair? Mom, why don't I have this kind of skin? Mom, why don't I? And that became the pain point. She approached the board of Dove to say, we need to overhaul our communication. But she didn't just go there and say that to them. She put pictures of children of the entire management staff and their complaints. I wish I had blonde hair. She will now put the picture of the person that said it. Maybe some little girl with black nappy hair. I wish I had better skin. They'll show the picture of the head of marketing, the daughter of the head of marketing, who is covering herself. She has good skin, but maybe she has freckles. I wish my face was perfect. And this, when she had to go and sell it to them, she had stories, she had people's experiences, she had real life examples that they could easily relate with. And they took the risk and they went for it. You can see all the commercials since then. The beauty sketches, they run, I can't remember if it, something about the skin, even though they did one that was misconstrued, that had a big backlash about racism the other time. If only people saw the full commercial, they probably wouldn't have lashed out like that. But that was the birth. That was the birth of that entire era. You need to, how good is your own storytelling as an agency or as an individual before you now go and convince client. Client feels like sales is what is helping me. Put my logo in the radio. I want to hear my logo. That way, to be top of mind. Tell them everything. So you need to go with facts. You need to go with facts. Like I said, a story combines facts in a narrative to help to convert or convince your people. Oh yes, that's an inside joke. Logo in the radio. Yeah, it's an inside joke within any agency. You have some clients who, pardon me, this may sound racist, but I like the radio, but I can't hear my logo. And you have unique clients like that. I hope I've been able to answer the questions. So far, are there more questions? Thank you very much, Babatunde. I appreciate it. I'm glad you learned a lot. Yes. In essence, you need a good story to convince everyone to believe your good story. Yes. Yes. There was a photographer once, a random photographer who wasn't really doing much. Of course, he was taking pictures, but hey, people didn't really get to know him. But now I'm sure you must have heard Humans of New York, Humans of Lagos, Humans of this. What the person did that changed the entire narrative was not just beyond just taking pictures. If you're taking a picture of someone, you go meet the person and ask the story of the person. Who is this person? That way, they even allow you to take their pictures. You are not stealing shots. So you get to know this person. Hey, this is. There's also another guy, Tom Sater, that does something similar. He gets to tell the stories of these people in one short paraphrase and put it up in a post with pictures of the person or of the hood or of the building or of the tree and give you the story. And before you knew, everybody wanted to be a part of Humans of New York. And then there was Humans of New York and Humans of different other places. So today there's Humans of Lagos. You know that it will always enter Lagos last. Now there's Humans of Lagos. Pretty sure Humans of Abuja. They will do Humans of lockdown if we are not careful. But that was because a story was told, a picture. I'm not just interested. And that's what a good caption also does for you on Instagram. Instagram is not just about your picture. Instagram is about the story behind your picture. Are you getting it? All right. Apart from Airtel, yes, what other brands present in the Nigerian market do you like their storytelling strategy? Well, of recent, Maltina. You know, Maltina before, yes, they were always about happiness, right? But it always made happiness seem like something not everybody could have. Happiness will be someone playing, someone jumping. Yeah, party, life with friends on the beach. Yay, happy. You drink Martina. Yay, excitement. Not everybody can go to beach. Not everybody has friends. Not everybody can afford to do party. No, not everybody. So I like it when they came and rebranded and said, look, find happiness in the little things. And they use scenarios that people could relate to. Oh my God. Every woman cannot wait to snap off her bra when she gets home. That mopo kind of feeling. Also, when you remove your wig as a babe, it's those two things to remove wig, remove bra. This lockdown period, the least used things are wigs and bras for ladies. Ask any lady. I don't know how I know, but I just know. Now, for other things that they highlighted, like, letting off gas, like peeing, the simplest things are the things that cause true happiness. Your first beard, the first beard that you have, those little things. So I like what Martina has done. They have brought it down to relatable bits. That way, anytime I'm thinking of those things. So for instance, if I mess and the mess relieve my stomach, I think back on the Martina commercial. That automatically happens for me. I also like what Maggie does. Maggie has always spun the narrative of women being the homemakers, women being this, women being that. Now, what they did that almost gave them backlash, the recent commercial, was because we have grown in this society, we have also, our eye have opened that the woman's place is not just in the kitchen. the man can also be in the kitchen. So that almost gave a backlash. However, the way they spun it was more like, look, this woman is a warrior. Three Crowns has also done the same thing. This woman, the things she combines, she works in the kitchen, yes, but she combines that with working a full-time job, taking care of dad, taking care of the kids, taking care of herself, taking care of the home. So she has like how many full-time jobs? Taking care of man as husband is one full-time job. I will not even lie. Taking care of yourself is another full-time job. Taking care of kids is another full-time job. Then taking charge of the home is another full-time job. Man cannot do it. True. Let's not even lie and give ourselves. We can only try, but we cannot do it. We'll break down faster than you can say Jack Robinson. So what these brands have done is to try and let people see the amount of work that mothers do, that women do. Not just because that is their role to do it. No, we're letting you see that, look, you think going out and hustling and getting the money is the main work. You are working, yes, we give you kudos. We appreciate the money you are bringing. But what holds all these things together? Why do you still have a family to spend money on? It is because of the great work that the woman is doing, despite having the same work that you have. You work 9 to 5. She probably works 8 to 7, and she still finds a way to juggle, you know? So those are brands that I like what they've done over time, telling good stories and relatable stories. Three Crowns blew in so short a time. My friend Omokende can attest to that, how Three Crowns blew so much. People knew Three Crowns. And Three Crowns was almost only available in Bangalore that time, the evaporated. But Three Crowns blew. And they had to do Three Crowns in powdered and had to do Three Crowns in different. People wanted to be associated with the Three Crowns story. And that is what sold for them. So those are Nigerian brands that come to mind when we talk about storytelling in Nigeria. Cadbury, they are still learning. I don't know what they're using Mercy Johnson to do right now for Bonfita, but we bless God. Bless God, they are at least willing to start seeing, trying to use emotional and personal stories, even though the voice is not working for them. But yeah, that is that. I hope I answered your question. Yes, selling without really selling. That's right. I don't know if he should do. I don't know if he should do. But of course, that's one of the things that comes with knowing and understanding good storytelling. You can also tell bad storytelling. So, yeah. There goes. Any more questions?
Okay, I don't think so. No one is typing. Give it a few seconds.
Oh, okay. Someone says I'm a copywriter who is new in this industry. Please, what books? I'm always weary when when a copywriter starts asking about books. If you're new in this industry, I advise that you focus first on taking in as many realities as you can. First, don't take in other people's perspectives first. If you're new in this industry, yes, you can read online. There's a blog sites, Copy Blogger, that you can get materials from. I started with Copy Blogger, so you can go on Copy Blogger and get materials. They give you, bit by bit, digestible materials on that blog. There are several books on copywriting. Truth, Lies, and Advertising. Uh, there's Hey Weeple, Squeeze This. There's books on storytelling. There's books. Just go online, you will find. Trust me, go online, you will find. But I always advise as a copywriter, open your eyes to experiences. And this is a very good period, this lockdown period. You see that outside of your house, that's your veranda, that's your balcony that you never really noticed before. Go there, sit down there, look at how people in your area are interacting with each other. Learn, take it in. You take in all these bits of information. When you are in public transport, take it in. Don't just be on your phone. Take it all in. When you are amongst your colleagues, observe. When you are in church, in the mosque, observe. All these things, they give you a unique perspective. So by the time you're coming into a brainstorming session, you're coming with your own perspective based on the things you have observed over time. You won't even know when you start just peeling out ideas, and the best of them come from human experiences that you've had personally. Okay, yes, I mentioned Cadbury Bonvita. Yes, it was Bonvita, the Mercy Johnson one. Mommy, thank you for the Mother's Day ad, I think. Yeah. What should they be doing better? Like I said, the voice. We get your message. You're trying to hail moms and appreciate moms. But you need to get a voice that best tells that message. You need to. It's why you watch Nollywood movies most times and you are pissed off because of bad acting. A lot of good stories were lost to bad acting. And a lot of bad stories were brought to life by good acting. So ask yourself, do I have a good story? If your answer is yes, then who am I picking to be the voice of this story? That is also very important. As a copywriter, don't just leave your script. You have written the script, you have done your job. I've done my job. I've written the radio script. I've done my job. So whatever happened from here, it's not my business. It's hand of production. It's production and that remain now. Whatever they do with it. No, your job is not, it doesn't end when you drop the pen or when you stop typing your script and submit it. No, it continues into the production process. You are supposed to supervise the voice that comes to read your script. The voice that comes to read your script should be a voice that best conveys. You might have the person might be the best voiceover artist, the most expensive voiceover artist, but the person cannot convey what you are trying to. You know what you were thinking in your head. You know what you wanted it to sound like. A lot of Airtel scripts I've had to voice myself. Thankfully, they like my voice, so it worked for me. But I had to voice it myself, not because there weren't other voiceover artists that could do it, but because most other voiceover artists were not giving me what I had in mind when I was writing the scripts. So there's only a limit to how much you can try and direct them. But if you are telling them 632 times, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, you just settle for saying, you know what, let's split this thing. I will pay rejection fee, 50%. I will do the remaining 50%. I will take it. I'll do this thing by myself. So you want to get the best voice possible to convey that message. I think someone like Sisi Yemi could be a good voice for them. I'm not going to prescribe. I'll leave that to the writers of whatever script they do to. It should be the responsibility of the writer in conjunction with the guys at production to determine the best way to mention, to pass the message across. Okay. Thank you. I don't know who Infinix Only is, but I don't believe that's your name. Also, quickly, your story shouldn't just be about your brand. So let's also quickly talk about your personal story. You are a brand. You, as a person, are a brand. The perception you paint to people is your story. How people interact with you, that's your story. If people perceive you as a bad person, it's because you've sold them a bad story about yourself. And John Tori along, please, it's better, I beg you. Don't go and put story on social media that will hinder your chances at success in life. So you think life ends on Instagram and you're posting slay and test traps up and down. When you now get job on LinkedIn, they're now going through your Instagram profile. This is the kind of person she is. This is the kind of person he is. Mm, mm. No, we don't like this story. And then that spoils chances for you. So you are your own brand. Tell your story the best way you know how. Mercy is a good actor. I believe the directing could be better. Yes, the directing could always be better. It's just that most times the writer or the person who is supposed to direct just settles. You just settle. Yeah, Mercy is good. I've actually it's fine. But if you are there on set while the acting is going on, you know how this thing played out in your head. If it doesn't meet up, if the acting or the performance doesn't meet up, John Tori along, cut them and let them know this is what you are talking about. If it takes how many takes to get it, if it takes 60 takes to get it, get it. But just make sure you get it. When you see what you played out in your head come out, even you will know. So it's not about mercy. No, it's not about mercy. Directing could easily have been better from both the production director and the writer of the script. Aha, Kudus. Yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yep. I'm waiting on any more questions and there's this very good innovation that I don't know. I think everybody can relate to it, but it's awesome. It kind of makes you feel good and prepared for the whole day. Everybody should try it sometime. Some have tried it, in the past. Some are waiting to try. It's called breakfast. You guys should try it. It sets the tone for the rest of the day. Yeah. So Pelumi, sorry, who's the person
Bukayo.
again?
Bukayo, like Busayo with a K.
Oh, Bukayo. Oh, Bukayo with the books. Okay. Yeah. So history, you need to learn how to keep history apart from the story. If you watch all these war movies, World War II, and where the Jews were killed by the Hitler's people, the Nazis, everybody knows all that story. But if you see what makes a movie award-winning and other movies about that war, not even, maybe they're low budget, is the story they tell around that period. Is it a love story? Look at The Pianist, for instance. Is it the story of a family and how they survived the war? Is it the story of someone and how he survived prison? Is it someone that came back to try and revenge and kill Hitler, man in the high castle kind of thing? Is it, what narrative are you spinning around the fact? Something like a Jojo Rabbit. That is right. Jojo Rabbit is a very humorous way to capture what happened in that period. So it doesn't give you the gory. You see gory, but it's fun. It doesn't give you all of that bad vibes, and it's not something that People will just keep reading history. Most people sleep in history class. But if your history, I'm yet to see a history teacher that is very interesting. But if you are lucky to have a history teacher or lecturer that is interesting, that person is gold. It should be kept in a museum. Exactly. I'm seeing the movies. Yes. That is it. 1917 and co.
Yeah, 1917. I think I watched quite a number of war history movies, so I understand where you're trying to come from. Like, how do you spin the story? How do you actually tell the story to encompass and make it strike that emotional chord? So it's not about the war; it's about the story of different people in the world. So you can have the same war, but different stories in like 10 different versions.
Exactly.
Okay, I guess that'll be all. Since we don't have any question, thank you so much, Jesujoba. I can speak for everybody that we learned quite a whole lot and changed some perspective and took out of your knowledge as well. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate it as a community, and so much for giving us, imparting us this knowledge.
I'm glad. It's my pleasure. And thank you guys for the opportunity as well. I appreciate it. You guys have been doing great things. I've heard quite a lot about DigiClan. Kenny is a big brand ambassador for DigiClan. So yes, you hear Kenny, you see Kenny, you hear DigiClan. It's not a hidden fact.
We're glad. Okay, so I think that's about to round it up. If no one has any question or feedback or contribution anymore. So, like we always do, the last one we did, we just had everybody say thank you at the end by just unmuting their mic and saying thank you. So if we could please do that one after the other.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Jesujoba. You're the best. Thank you. It was fun. You were not so formal. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. My pleasure.
As in, you were telling story, teaching, telling story. You were telling stories, teaching, storytelling.
I get you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, then. You guys go out and do great things.
Yes, sir.
Or sit down in the laptop and stay indoors and do great things.
Well, yeah. When I say go out, it's just your veranda, your balcony. I'll tell you.
Let's just say like this is what this is what talk about.
And I just go out to do great things. I say observe. I don't say observe inside police station. I beg.
All right, everybody with the catch on have no food.
Yeah, they look there for your window.
They go use you chop nice food.
Exactly. You start chicken up for your head. They go eat that.
Oh boy. All right, boss.
Thank you, Jesujoba.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much, Jesujoba.
Thank you, Ibrahim.
Okay, I guess that's about it. Thank you so much, and we'll end the call here.
Okay, right. Sorry, one more thing I wanted to ask. Are we going to have any of this lockdown continues? Is it possible we could have any, or maybe it might be on a different topic, or do we have a platform, maybe like a WhatsApp group or somewhere we can, maybe if you have any questions or want to join DigiClan or something?
Oh yes, please. Okay, so yes, please drop your phone number here so I can send you a message.
Okay.
So if you can join DigiClan, would send, or I could just drop the link here. Once you register, we'll have
Okay.
you added to the community.
Yeah, someone was
Alright.
asking if this video was going to be recorded.
Yes, I was the one asking.
Okay. I don't know if they record Zoom calls.
Yes, they do resume Zoom
Okay.
calls.
Oh, okay. So that's good then. Oh, yeah, I can see it there. Huh.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm going to get that video.
So please drop your number, Kudi, so I could actually reach out to you as well.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So
And
much.
I'm
Thank
out.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such.